Wednesday, December 21st, 2016, in Oakland, California, in a federal courtroom in front of U.S. District Court Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers, 4 extremely high-ranking members of the NF, better known as the Nuestra Familia prison gang, were given a wide range of sentence after their 3-month trial convicted them of racketeering, murder, robbery, and various drug offenses. The 4 men convicted had lived a life of crime, a life of extreme power and influence over individuals inside and outside of prison, and the sentences they were handed down reflected that. 60-year-old Andrew Cervantes, a.k.a. Mad Dog of Stockton, California, was sentenced to 36 years in prison. 52-year-old Henry Cervantes, a.k.a. Happy of Lodi, California, was sentenced to 75 years in prison. 48-year-old Alberto Larez, a.k.a. Bird of Salinas, California, was sentenced to life plus 10 years in prison. And 33-year-old Jaime Cervantes, a.k.a. Hennessy of San Mateo, California, was sentenced to 32 years in prison. However, one thing to remember is just because men like this are behind bars does not mean their power or influence lessens in any way, shape, or form.
This is the Bay Area's news station. KRON 4 News at 6 starts now.
Now at 6, after weeks of violence and murder, the picture San Jose police want you to see. Dozens of alleged gang members hauled into court under heavy guard. One defense attorney says it's all for a show.
A lot of these cases by themselves wouldn't make it to a jury.
It is called Operation Red Dawn. 4 different law enforcement agencies here in the Bay Area collaborate to take down several members of one of the most dangerous gangs along the West Coast, Nuestra Familia. Today, 34 alleged members of that gang were in court to hear the charges against them. KRON 4's Rob Flatterbow has the latest.
In a bizarre, unprecedented proceeding here at the Hall of Justice, the 8 women and 26 men entered Department 24 under heavy security. 2 of 6 bailiffs were armed with shotguns, but those closest to the defendants were unarmed. Prosecutors asked that no pictures be taken of them. Most of the male defendants wore handcuffs or waist chains. The accused faced charges ranging from murder and bank robbery to selling methamphetamine. Defense attorney Daniel Jensen, however, is critical of the DA's case.
But an awful lot of these cases are a single sale of meth to a person who says they bought it, who is sitting in jail trying to get favors from the district attorney's office.
On Tuesday, District Attorney Jeff Rosen announced a grand jury indictment of at least 39 individuals, many alleged Nuestra Family gang members, capping a 3-year probe of organized crime. Free on bail, Monica Orozco defended her alleged co-conspirators.
What the investigating officers do is they go to this person and they say, hey, we know you were in prison. We know you must have some connections with people in the streets. You must know something. We will help you get off of your life case if you start to just give us some names.
Prosecutors declined further comment on the grand jury's 99-page indictment, which alleges 77 felonies. Over the course of an hour, one by one, about half the defendants entered not guilty pleas, while the others saw an attorney for the first time. Most will return to court next month in what is being called easily the largest such case in Santa Clara County history. In San Jose, Rob Flatterbow.
Local police leading our crime watch tonight, stemming from what police are calling Operation Triple Beam. Nearly 200 people arrested, many of them known gangsters, all during a major crackdown on gangs in Salinas. Action News reporter Felix Cortez is live with a closer look at the numbers and the operation behind them. Felix?
And Dan, you said it, that crackdown dubbed Operation Triple Beam went after some of the most violent criminal organizations here on the Central Coast and their leaders.
Receive the message that their violent criminal behavior will not be tolerated by this community nor its police.
A 4-month crackdown dubbed Operation Triple Beam that involved at times more than 45 federal, state, and local police tracking down some of the most violent criminals in Salinas and Monterey County.
We will use any and all resources available to lawfully and fiercely pursue violent offenders and bring them to justice.
Surrounded by her law enforcement partners, Salinas Police Chief Adele Frese announced the results of the gang crackdown. 197 people arrested, 94 of them known gangsters, 28 firearms seized, $25,000 confiscated, along with hundreds of grams of cocaine and meth. Operation Triple Beam targeting shot callers and their organization's source of income.
The name also represents the target of gravity or connection that all criminal gangs have. Guns, drugs, and money.
Operation Triple Beam had its beginnings early last year, starting in March when police arrested a Salinas man and recovered 50 firearms, including a machine gun. And then in September, a federal grand jury indicted more than 15 gangsters on racketeering and conspiracy to commit murder in the Monterey County Jail. By October, Operation Triple Beam was up and running.
This operation is unique because we are not waiting for crime to happen, then to investigate. We are working steps ahead of these dangerous criminals to prevent crime and make our streets safer.
During the 4-month sting, the Salinas police chief says crime went down from the same time last year in Salinas, an 87% decrease in homicides, 46% decrease in drive-bys. Armed robberies went down 66%.
And even though this concludes Triple Beam, this is just the beginning, because our Violence Suppression Task Force is here to stay. They will continue to be out there tonight, tomorrow, and the following days, and for the days on.
And many of those picked up during Operation Triple Beam now facing federal charges, which mean longer sentences in federal prisons if convicted. Dan?
Thank you very much, Felix. Operation Triple Beam is actually a program of the U.S. Marshals Service. Since Triple Beam began in 2010, law enforcement agents say they've had 9,000 arrests as part of the program.
We are beginning tonight with law enforcement dealing a big blow to gangs and organized crime in what's being called the largest criminal gang case in Santa Clara County history. 48 suspected members of the Nuestra Familia gang were indicted today on multiple serious felonies. With more on the indictment and its expected impact on the Central Coast, here's Action News reporter Tom Miller, who's live in our Salinas newsroom with tonight's top story.
Well, Aaron, to be clear, these are not small-time gangsters. These are some of the top organizers running the show up and down California. In Santa Clara County alone, they are in charge of 27 different street-level gangs. Tonight, many of them are behind bars after another major gang sweep.
The Nuestra Familia gang is large and highly organized, exerting control from inside state prisons and local jails to the streets of Santa Clara County and Salinas. However, now 39 of its members are in custody and another 9 are wanted after being indicted on 77 felonies, the largest ever in Santa Clara County history.
When you look at the drug trafficking, the witness intimidation, the firearms, the murder, the robberies, it was a significant crime spree, and this prosecution will bring that to a close.
Among the charges, the 2012 execution of a 38-year-old gang member in San Jose, and earlier that year, the holdup of a Bank of America and subsequent chase that shut down Highway 85.
These are major players that they have today under indictment. When you remove that from the community, there's really no one to run the business, and that's what it is. It's a criminal enterprise.
That enterprise hasn't spared the Central Coast.
Fact of the matter is, a lot of the Nuestra Familia is run out of the city of Salinas. So to take off another regiment like Santa Clara or maybe in Stockton or some other place is bound to have a residual effect on Salinas.
These large-scale interagency gang roundups have proven to be a successful crime-fighting tool here in Monterey County as well. Just last month, Operations Clean Sweep and Snake Eyes landed more than 70 arrests here, which begs the question, why isn't our law enforcement doing these all the time?
The reason we don't do them every month is because we can't sustain it with the resources that we have at the Salinas Police Department.
But when they are organized, they work, and officers will be the first to tell you the streets are more peaceful and quieter because of it.
38 men and 10 women were charged in this case, and while some of them were already behind bars and another 9 are still on the loose, we're told that there were dozens of arrests made in this case. Aaron?
All right, Tom, thank you. All of the alleged crimes in the indictment happened over the last 3 years. Nuestra Familia has been run out of California's prisons since the 1960s.
Dozens of arrests today as part of a statewide gang sweep. Among those charged are prison inmates who are accused of using cell phones to orchestrate violent crimes from behind bars. This crackdown follows a KCRA3 investigation into the use of cell phones from inside a prison. Attorney General Jerry Brown announced today's arrests. Authorities targeted key members of the Nuestra Familia gang. The arrests were made across the state as part of Operation Street Sweeper. Brown says the sweep is a crippling blow to the notorious prison gang that operates out of Pelican Bay State Prison.
It's intolerable in our free society that people as dangerous as this, even after they're convicted and sent away for long times in prison, still carry on their activity. It's all the prevention efforts that are also.
The sweep involved 250 officers from various law enforcement agencies. 36 suspected gang members were arrested on drug trafficking charges.
We are back now with your 17 Crime Watch, and this morning the acting United States Attorney announced the culmination of a 5-year-long gang investigation across California. The joint operation between the FBI, the DEA, and local law enforcement agencies resulted in dozens of gang arrests. Stephanie M. Hines is here with the statement.
Without this cooperation and coordination, the investigation that led to today's announcement could not have occurred. We will continue to work with our law enforcement partners to make it truer than ever that crime does not pay and violent crime has no place in our neighborhoods.
The acting U.S. Attorney says as a result of what the involved agencies dubbed as Operation Quiet Storm, leaders of the Nuestra Familia prison gang, the San Jose Grande gang, and the El Joya Palmas street gang were arrested on charges ranging from drug trafficking to murder. The arrests occurred up and down the state, from Humboldt County right down to Kern County.
Of Operation Quiet Storm was immense. The U.S. Attorney called the 5-year operation the most significant law enforcement action to disrupt Nuestra Familia in decades. The Sheriff's Department and San Jose Police joined the Department of Justice in San Francisco to talk about the arrests aimed to bring down or at least cripple Nuestra Familia. The U.S. Attorney said 7 of NF's leaders of the criminal organization, spanning 28 counties, ran it from prison cells, and now they and others have been moved to higher security federal prisons. Agents say arrests were made in Santa Clara, San Francisco, Alameda, and numerous surrounding counties. But the sweep also targeted 2 well-known San Jose gangs that allegedly operate throughout the South Bay, Salinas, and Central Valley.
San Jose Grande and El Joya Palmas are 2 San Jose-based Norteño street gangs. A total of 12 members and associates of the San Jose Grande and El Joya Palmas street gangs have been charged with racketeering-related crimes.
Agents uncovered widespread networks of members and associates involved in crimes such as conspiracy to commit murder, robbery, assault, racketeering, and drug distribution.
Operation Quiet Storm was anything but quiet in going after and charging 55 defendants. The Sheriff's Department alone utilized special units usually seen in high-profile incidents such as the VTA shooting.
We were able to utilize tactical assets such as SWAT teams, hostage rescue teams, crisis response teams, mobile command post vehicles, and surveillance teams to our advantage.
The FBI says those tactics resulted in large seizures of cash, weapons, and narcotics. Operation Quiet Storm has not subsided yet, but so far, 36 of the people being sought are in custody. In San Jose, Robert Honda, NBC Bay Area News.
This is CBS 47 Eyewitness News at 5 in high definition.
Good evening. Thanks for tuning us in. I'm Ken Malloy.
And I'm Catherine Herr. We begin in the South Valley tonight, where Kings and Tulare County law enforcement have dismantled a dangerous gang that was funneling drugs into the valley. It was being run from inside the walls of a prison. CBS 47's Pedro Quintana has details on the sweep.
Well, this operation was called Red Reaper. It involved a multi-agency task force with Tulare and Kings County Sheriff's Office, also the FBI and the DOJ. Their mission was to take Norteño gang members off the streets. A notorious local street gang taking a huge hit.
We are announcing today the arrest of 96 individuals and the seizure of 74 firearms, including 14 fully auto firearms.
Federal agents and local law enforcement also taking 11 pounds of crystal meth off the streets. The sweep taking 10 months. The ones calling the shots on the operation were working from behind the walls of Pleasant Valley State Prison in Coalinga. Top leaders of the Nuestra Familia gang giving orders using smuggled cell phones.
We're all fighting for the good cause. As you see and you've heard, that we want to overcome evil, and that's exactly what existed here with these gang members.
The web of crime went far beyond prison walls. Investigators say an officer-involved shooting that happened Tuesday morning outside of Corcoran was the result of the operation. Gang affiliates were being tracked by enforcement operatives. That's when they pulled off a home invasion robbery. They were stopped by officers who were forced to open fire. Tulare County Sheriff Mike Boudreau says the crackdown sends a message.
I want every gang member to hear that law enforcement here locally in Tulare and Kings County, Fresno County, the central San Joaquin Valley, we will be coming after you.
And some of the gang members that were arrested will also face federal charges. Reporting at the Kings County Jail, Pedro Quintana, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
The indictment centers on the 7 attempted murders that took place within the Monterey County Jail.
My understanding is yesterday and today they were moved to federal custody, and where exactly the feds have them, I don't know.
14 members of the Nuestra Familia Salinas Norteño enterprise taken out from Monterey County, an area they considered a stronghold for the gang, according to a federal indictment released Thursday. Their alleged crime spree took place in 2012 and 2013. The indictment claims the men engaged in racketeering for the purpose of preserving the power, territory, reputation, and profits of their gang. Outside of jail, they committed robbery and drug dealing. But once inside jail, they didn't stop looking to expand their influence. They considered the Monterey County Jail a, quote, training ground for new members for their criminal organization. Johnny Soldier Boy Magdaleno was arrested as a result of the gang crackdown in 2013 called Operation Snake Eyes. He committed 2 robberies. He was sent to the Monterey County Jail after committing 2 robberies. He then went on to commit 2 attempted murders, also known as, quote, removals. A removal is when one of the gang members inflicts violence on another prison mate to either kill them or produce as much harm as possible, usually as a result of a gang violation. The indictment alleges the 14 gang members conspired to commit 7 removals altogether. One of the victims stabbed 21 times in the chest and back. In a statement about the indictments, Sheriff Steve Bernal said, quote, we are proud to have partnered with our federal partners on this important investigation that will improve the safety of our entire community. Now, altogether, the investigation included the FBI, the California Department of Corrections, the Salinas Police Department, and the Monterey County Sheriff's Office. Dan, Aaron, back to you.
Christopher, thank you. If convicted, the defendants face up to life in prison.